We are now on the second page of our worksheet. Hopefully you have it printed out or up on a separate screen. And in this video, we're going to learn how to calculate contribution margin percentage, break-even number of units, and break-even number of dollars. Okay, so we are going to use the same two examples throughout the rest of the worksheet, or quite a bit of the rest of the worksheet. Okay. We're going to have company A and company B. And then when you go and do your homework, you're going to have company C, D, and E. So the format should look very familiar. If you go through this worksheet with me, when you go to do your homework, it should look really familiar. So if you take really good notes on how we did everything, your homework should be quick. All right. So we know, so first of all, someone has already done the high-low method for us, and we know our variable costs. And we have them here. We know our sales price, we have it here, and we know our fixed cost. Okay, so someone's done the math, we're in good shape. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna calculate our contribution margin. Contribution margin is sales minus variable cost. And at this point, we're doing it per unit. So our sales price per unit is $100 minus our variable cost is $20. So our contribution margin for product A is $80. For product B, we take our sales price of $5 minus our variable cost of $1.50, and we get a contribution of $3.50. All right, now we're going to calculate our contribution margin percentage, and that's going to be our contribution margin divided by sales. I'm going to take for product A, I'm going to take my contribution margin of 80, divide it by my sales price of $100, and I'm going to get a contribution margin percentage of 80%. For product B, I'm going to take my contribution margin of $3.50 and divide it by my sales price of $5, and I get a contribution margin of 70%. These are pretty high contribution margins, so I feel like these products are going to be winners, but let's see how they shake out. All right, the next thing we're going to do is calculate our break even. At what point do we cover our costs? Remember, break even means we've covered all of our costs, but we have not made any profit yet. Okay, we have broken even. Up in Reno, we call that a push, but we're not in Reno, so we'll call it break even. Right, and the formula for break even number of units, in fact, let me just type this in here, is fixed cost divided by contribution. Okay, so for product A, we have a contribution margin of $80 a unit, and we have $80,000 in fixed cost. So we take our fixed cost of $80,000, divide it by our contribution margin of $80 per unit, and we find that in order to break even, to cover all of our costs, fixed and variable, we need to make 1,000 units. On product 1001, we start making profit. Okay. Let's do the same thing for product B. So we'll take our fixed cost of $70,000 divided by our contribution margin of $3.50, and we get break-even units of 20,000. That means we have to make 20,000 units. We have to sell, not make, sell 20,000 units to cover all of our fixed and variable costs. On unit 20,001, we start making profit. All right. What if, though we don't want to do this in units, we want to do it in dollars? There's two different ways we can do that, but I'm going to start with the first way is we can take our fixed cost and divide by the contribution margin percentage. Okay, so if I divide our fixed cost of $80,000 for product A by our contribution margin percentage of 80%, I get $100,000. So once I have sold $100,000 worth of product A, I've broken even, and 100,001, that extra $1 would be profit. For product B, I'm going to divide my fixed cost of $70,000 by my contribution margin percentage of 70%. Wow, these numbers came out really good. Whoever designed this spreadsheet is really kind. And we will also have break-even dollars of $100,000. And you can see the number of units are different because our sales price is different. Okay, so what if I want to check my work and make sure I did this right? So the other way I can get break-even sales is I can multiply my break-even units find my sales price. So for product A, if I multiply 1,000 by 100, I get 100,000. So I'm pretty sure I did this right. Same thing, if I multiply my break-even units of 20,000 for product B by my sales price of $5, then I get 100,000. The answer won't always be 100,000. That's just how it shook out on these two. Okay, so this is contribution margin, percentage, break-even units, and break-even dollars. We are going to use these concepts, these numbers, in the rest of the spread, everything else we do. So if you've taken really good notes, awesome, carry them with you. If you have not taken good notes, please rewatch this video, take some really good notes so you can carry them forward into the rest of the videos. All right, I'll see you on the next one.